identify who is here. We have a number of our colleagues who, of course, given schedules, are unable to join us, but we are all unanimous in our purpose for being here this morning, and that is to share with New Yorkers the conclusion that we have come to with regards to the administration of this institution, MedgarEvers College of the City University of New York. I am Congresswoman Yvette Clarke of the 9th Congressional District.
Councilman Alban, 36th District.
Assemblywoman Annette Robinson, the 56th Assembly District.
Assemblymember Inez Barron from the 60th Assembly District, and also representing Councilmember Charles Barron from the 42nd Council District. He was out of town, couldn't be here.
Walter Mosley, member of the 57th Assembly District, New York State Assembly.
Shamani Williams, 45th District, City Council.
And we are here after many years of working to try to get a stable educational environment for the students in the campus here at MedgarEvers College, working with the administrators at CUNY Central, as we call it, from the Chancellor's Office to the Board of Trustees. This institution has gone through a very traumatic 3 years. The bringing aboard of the current resigned president has been a process that we weren't excited about to begin with, but that we gave an opportunity to work here on this campus. And throughout this past 3 years, we have seen a rapid decline in academic standards of this institution, as well as campus morale, and the ways in which staff and faculty have been dealt with, have been addressed. There has been a real rapid decline in the moral values of this institution, and we are here to say that the current process of now making the transition to new leadership is one that we are not in favor of. One that we have rejected as being of value to this institution and to this community. Currently, it has been the mission of CUNY Central to do what we call an expedited search for a new president here. We believe that this institution requires a moment, a period of healing, restoration, and that the search for a permanent president at this time is not in the best interest of the forward growth and movement of this institution. Just to share with you a few things that have happened during this period, this past 3 years at this institution, there have been two votes of no confidence in this institution, going back to December of 2010 and as recently as April of 2012. In October of 2012, there was actually a student walkout where the students were asking for this president to resign. And then the creme de la creme, unfortunately, was in November of 2012 when the Middle States Commission on Higher Education sent a warning to this institution that we believe has jeopardized its accreditation. And what was their finding? Inadequate preparation of the periodic review report, which stands in stark contrast to what this institution's findings from the commission were in 2007 when the school was commended by Middle States. So you can see that there has been a decline in academic framework, and we are very concerned that nothing has changed substantively. We have found that having President Pollard as a resigned president is not congruent with an acknowledgement that he has not done well by this institution, his leadership has not moved it forward, and that it is time to break with the past and start anew in healing this campus and in moving its mission forward with a new focus on higher standards, on the students and their academic preparation, on the faculty and the healing that needs to take place here, and what this institution means to the overall community in which it sits, and the things that we believe make this institution unique among CUNY institutions, and that is it being an institution that was founded and created by the community, its leadership, for the explicit purpose of educating students who heretofore had not had an opportunity, an entryway into higher education. And having said that, I'm going to turn now to Councilman Van, who's one of the founding leaders of this community, to put all of this in context. Councilman.
Thank you, Congress lady, family, brothers and sisters all. A little inclement weather. I don't think it wouldn't have deterred Harriet Tubman, would it?
That's right.
I don't know. I know Nat Turner, I know it wouldn't mean anything to him. It is not irrelevant that today is May 19th, which is the birth date of who?
Yes, that's right.
And in a few weeks to June, we will be acknowledging the 50th anniversary of the assassination of MedgarEvers. MedgarEvers, one of our most outstanding civil rights leaders who made the ultimate sacrifice, the man for whom this college was named. I was there. I participated in the naming. MedgarEvers is a very unique institution. It was born out of community coming together, some 28 organizations, and we demanded that there be a college in Bed-Stuy, Central Brooklyn, that would address the needs of all of the students that wanted to attend a college. It was unheard of. City University never had such an occasion as this. But we were successful in doing that. And I must admit, despite the victory that we won, they've always attempted to treat MedgarEvers as a stepchild. Even from the beginning, it was bifurcated. You could be a 2-year or you could be a 4-year. So we negotiated out so the 2-year and a 4-year. Then we had to fight for 4-year status. I know because I was there in the assembly. So there's always been this bias in City University towards MedgarEvers College. And what have we asked for? Nothing more than has been given to all the other units when they find themselves in a similar situation. When a president resigns, they set up an interim acting or acting interim president. As recently as Kingsborough College, the president resigned. What did they do? They put in an acting interim president. As a matter of fact, the chancellor resigned. And he set up an acting interim for himself. It is the rule. It is the exception not to establish an acting interim when a president resigns. So why here at MedgarEvers College? Well, I think it is a disrespect to all of the elected officials who are here and those who are not. It is a disrespect to the communities that we represent. It is a lack of concern about creating an education environment for our youth. And as Malcolm X said, if it's not about the youth, what the hell is it all about? If it's not about our youth, then what the hell is it all about? I paraphrase Malcolm X, they're not my words. What we are calling upon is for the chancellor, the trustees, the chairman of the board to redeem themselves simply treat us like they treat any other unit. Cease and desist this flawed search. It's not a real national search. It has produced some 50 candidates. That's ridiculous. The average national search produces at least 200 or more candidates. Cut it out. Cease and desist. President Pollard has resigned. Accept his resignation. He's out. Immediately, he's out. Appoint an interim acting president as you do in every other situation in the City University of New York. Let me conclude with this. For more than 40 years that I know about, there has been a pact, a relationship between the City University of New York and the black elected officials of Brooklyn and those throughout the city. They are creating a situation where we will no longer can be expected to support City University in all of its policies and budget requests because they're not treating us as if we are a member of the family. The day is past when we will not take a look at whether or not and if we will be supportive of City University when they are not supporting our requests. We are congresspersons, we are state representatives, we are members of the city council together, and we're saying we know what's right for our college. They respect the elected officials in every other borough. They work out a relationship. You know academia, we know our people, we know what's happening in our various levels of government. They always sit down and they work it out. Why not work it out with us? What is the problem? I know it's not because we're black. There must be some other element. I'm saying there's an opportunity here for City University to do the right thing. We're not asking for anything extraordinary. Nothing extraordinary. All we want, treat us like you treat every other college in the system. Respond to the elected officials who represent the people. Cease and desist this flawed search. Accept the resignation of President Pollard. Put in place immediately an interim acting president for MedgarEvers College. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'd like to bring forward another leader who was here at the inception of this institution, and that's none other than Assemblywoman Annette Robinson.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Clark, and to my colleagues in government that have assembled here this morning, and to all of you that have come out. I too would like to echo the sentiment that has been expressed by Congresswoman Clark and also Councilmember Van. I have children that have gone, and my grandchildren have come here to MedgarEvers College to be educated. And I wanted to continue to have an institution here that will be able to provide them with the best education that they need to receive. We have tried over these past few years to enter into a relationship or establish a new paradigm with the CUNY University system, in addition to what we've worked with all along. But it seems as though that the CUNY University system is adamant that they do not want to provide MedgarEvers College with the same interest and concern that they have expressed with others. And so therefore we stand here in solidarity today to say enough is enough. You need to cease and desist with looking for a permanent president. And the other thing is that President Pollard needs to come away from MedgarEvers College at this time so that we can, as it has been expressed, that we can have a healing environment for the students and the staff here on this campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me, in order of seniority, I suppose, have Assemblywoman Inez Barron speak at this time.
Thank you. I ditto the comments that have been already presented, and I speak on behalf of myself as well as my husband, Councilmember Charles Barron, who, as I said, is out of the city, is not available. We have got to make sure that the tradition which established this college continues to be able to represent what are the interests of our children and our community. We think it is despicable for the chancellor to try to appoint a president before he leaves, when we know what we got when he presented us with President Pollard. we expect that we would get more of the same because he has shown a very poor judgment in giving us Pollard. We were trying to work with it over the years. It did not work out. Had they completely vented President Pollard, they would have known of a very shadowy history, which was not beneficial for the institutions at which he served. We will not be saddled with another president that the chancellor is pushing on us in a rushed manner. We've got to continue to have a national and even international search so that we will be able to see that we are presented someone who is a candidate that brings the tradition and the history of excellence and struggle and acceleration and excellence again to MedgarEvers College. I continue to say that the struggle continues, and the struggle may be long, and we may have to elevate the struggle, but we will certainly be victorious as we stick together and go forward and make sure our demands are met. Thank you.
We're going to have Assemblyman Walter Mosley, senior moment, Walter Mosley to bring his comments at this time.
Thank you, Congressman. We should be here reveling in graduation season. The accomplishments of our students, accomplishments of our universities and high schools and grade schools. But instead we are here because we have a concern about an anchor in our community. That anchor being MedgarEvers College. And to us, to compromise or to negligently apply decisions to MedgarEvers that would jeopardize his future, to us is irresponsible and something that we will address ongoing from this day going forward. I know, MedgarEvers is a part of my community. I border it with the 43rd Assembly District with Assemblyman Kareem Kamara, the chairman of the Black Legislative Caucus, and we are not asking for much. As my colleagues have said, we want to stop this process, this truncated process of finding a president, a process that has been proven to be flawed in the past, and a process we know will be flawed going forward. We ask that we prevent this process from going forward in an effort to complete and conduct a complete and comprehensive nationwide search for a president who will reflect the interests of MedgarEvers College and the community in which it serves. So I stand here with my colleagues firmly and asking that these comments that I attach myself to be applied forthwith, because if they are not, we understand that it jeopardizes not only the future of our community, but the future of those individuals who will be coming here to seek a higher education. So I stand here proudly with my colleagues, but I'm disappointed to be standing here because we all know that certain communities don't have to do this. Certain communities don't have to stand in the rain asking for what is right, asking for what is equitable and fair. But unfortunately, this is where we have to come to. But we also know that what we're gonna get is what we demand. So I stand here proudly, I stand here somewhat disappointed, but also understanding that we will get what we rightfully deserve. And that is a MedgarEvers College that's respected by all, a MedgarEvers College that will be embraced by all, and a MedgarEvers College that will never be disrespected by any man or any woman who stands in its way. I thank you for this opportunity, and I thank you for being here, and I thank my colleagues for standing together in solidarity as we approach this situation with the level of dignity and respect that we only want to return. Thank you.
Let me have Councilman Jamani Williams speak at this time.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and I want to thank you for always making sure Central Black legislators are together. And I will obviously associate myself with my colleagues, especially Assemblywoman Robinson and Councilmember Van, who were here at the beginning. I love to hear Councilmember Van with the wise, calm anger of an elder. I would love to attach myself with those words. It is, as usual, very frustrating to me because we always get hit with the okie doke. So our communities actually need more than some of the other communities because of the issues we're dealing with. We always get hit with the okie doke of having to fight for things that are just at the same level as everybody else. And that's a very frustrating thing. Can you imagine what we're in the rain asking for? We are in the rain asking to be treated like any other college in the CUNY system. Somebody explain that to me. Because what if this was Brooklyn College, my alma mater? What if this was City College? We can ask, what if this is Kingsborough? We know what would happen in Kingsborough. It would not be a 90-day search. Can you imagine if you have an organization or a company, you have identified that the head of that organization is not the correct person, they tender their resignation, you accept it and say, but you can stay on for a few extra months to either continue the damage that you have been doing or punish the people who have been pointing it out.
That's right.
Where would that be accepted, anyone here? You look at the spectrum that's behind me, a central black legislature. There was a nice spectrum of people who do things in different ways. There are some people who come out on the street on day 15, some will come out on day 1, some will come out first, some who prefer to talk on the inside, but everybody is here today. So you have to know how bad it has gotten that everybody has come out today to stand in the rain and say we are being treated, unfortunately, how we are always been treated. This college was born because of how we've been treated. And we're here again today to say there has been a problem identified. We're not even asking for the more that we should be asking for. We are simply asking to be treated like any other college in this system. And I want to attach myself again to Councilwoman Van to say, I for one, incoming budgets, maybe a little late for this one, may not be. But we'll make sure that when they come hat in hand, that they are reminded of the disrespect that has been given to this group of legislators, more than likely because of the hue of their skin. Because I have a hard time understanding that after speaking once or twice in any other community, that we would not have been heard at this moment in time. So be careful. Be very careful, because you have a lot of people fed up now. And you're gonna come and you're gonna ask for funds, you're gonna ask for changes on maps so you can do things, and it's gonna be the same people you disrespected. So please, all we're asking very calmly is to treat us the same as you would treat anyone else in the CUNY educational system. Thank you.
Thank you. And to bring his comments into close at this time, we're going to have our newest member of the congressional delegation, my partner in Washington, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
Thank you, Congresswoman Clark. You know, Harvard is to Cambridge what MedgarEvers is to Central Brooklyn.
That's right.
It is an important community-centered institution that is a pathway for the education of young people from these communities to pursue the American dream. And we take MedgarEvers College and its mission seriously. As has been mentioned, it was born of community struggle, has came to be what it is today as a result of the efforts of folks like Councilman Van and so many others who recognize the need for an institution to educate young people from this community. Now, a mistake was made several years ago as it relates to the leadership of this institution. And we're not here to relitigate the past. But we have to make sure that the appropriate thing is done as it relates to the future of this college. The students at MedgarEvers, present and future, deserve a fully baked search for a president, not a microwave search. Now, at the end of the day, the results may look the same, but a microwave search does not produce a president who can fulfill the needs of the students at this institution. And that's why we're saying just take a step back. Allow for a comprehensive search to be done to produce the best possible president and leader to take this institution forward.
I want to just acknowledge that while we're gathered here as elected officials, we have members of our community members of the faculty and the student body here as well. They are the true heroes because they have been here day in, day out, trying to highlight and bring to the fore the dysfunction on this campus. They have tried through every means possible to enter into a dialogue with the leadership, and there has been a wall of silence in terms of addressing their concerns, in terms of collaboration to right the wrongs, if you will, that have taken place on this campus. What we are saying today, just to close, is that this institution is of value. It is of extreme value to the students who are educated here, those who will come in the future. It is of value to the surrounding community. It is the academic hall that we all look to produce the best and the brightest of the communities of Brooklyn and indeed throughout this city. And so we say once again that this expedited search for a president is not in the best interest of this institution. It has gone through a tumultuous period. It requires a settling and stability. It requires healing and an outreach to all parties. That can only take place if we have an acting interim individual who understands that this campus is ready for change, can look at all of the dimensions, the harm that has been done as well as the academic regression that has taken place, deal effectively with that, and present to whomever a national search would reveal to us is prepared to take this institution into the 21st century with the mission intact, with the healing achieved, and with the zeal to take MedgarEvers College as part of the City University into the 21st century as a four-year institution with its mission fully understood and embraced by all. Let me close now and ask if there are any questions at this time. We can have people identify themselves from the student body, from the faculty, and from the community who are here. We'll start on this end with
I'm Dr. Brenda Green. I'm a professor in the
Frankie Lord, professor in the mass communication department.
okay.
Joe Coelho, community activist and parent. P. Ralph Murray, community activist and member of the coalition.
Luke Mistral, graduated senior at MedgarEvers College.
Camille McIntyre, Student Government Association Treasurer.
Dr. Selena Blair, former faculty member, public administration and community management.
So as you can see, we've got a wide spectrum representing those who are concerned about this institution and who have, quite frankly, been the ones to highlight all that has taken place here. And we thank them for their leadership and their courage of conviction and their commitment to MedgarEvers College. Any questions?
At the end of the winter and the beginning of the spring, you all, from what I understood, had your first meeting with Goldstein, which actually revealed the information that led to Pollard tendering his resignation or announcing that he would among you all, and then we finally got it. So at that meeting, did you all ask or demand for an interim president then? Because after it was announced that Pollard was going to resign or submitted his resignation, the students and a lot of organizations and activists right here literally kept begging for an interim president. Because Pollard, even then they said Pollard he has to go.
Let me say this. Our initial meeting with the Board of Trustees, including Chancellor Goldstein, was to make transparent what was internal knowledge and information that ultimately we gathered ourselves to bring to the fore what we knew about this institution and what was happening here, what had been documented in terms of its academic digression, and all of the challenges that have taken place in this community. At that time, we left them saying to them that our concern had risen to the level of no confidence. At that point in time, they were not prepared to tell us what their response would be. It was subsequent to that President Pollard's resignation was accepted. At that point in time, we moved to meet with them again. And that meeting took a very long time for us to obtain. We sent correspondence saying that we wanted an acting interim to be put in place immediately. Between the time that we sent the correspondence and that we got a response from them, they ultimately decided that they would move to do this national search. So there has been sort of a deaf ear to what we have been asking of them. They have decided that they have their own agenda, which we don't find to be congruent with the agenda of the community and the best interest of this campus.
So this week, on Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, there was supposed to be the finalist of the search committee who was supposed to come and meet with the students and the faculty and the community. And then on Thursday, at the last minute, they canceled and decided to move it to June. You all are opposed to that process too?
We're opposed to moving forward with identifying a permanent president for this institution in such an expedited process. We do not have confidence that this process will yield for this institution the type of leadership that it requires. They have stated that they have identified several people. We have no knowledge of who these people are, but ultimately will be presenting, I think it's 3 candidates. If in fact they've identified 3 candidates from a pool of maybe 50 candidates, it is quite suspect, particularly that now that they have moved this process into June, about the value, quality of the individuals that have responded. We can't say that that pool is not adequate for an acting interim. We are concerned that this process yield the very best candidate for a campus such as MedgarEvers College.
So you would accept possibly an acting interim president from the potential pool that has been named, because several of them are academics, scholars, and administrators here.
We would have to see what the process has been. This has been a process that has not been transparent in any way. It has been thoroughly expedited by individuals from CUNY Central. So we are a bit concerned about it. We have not had many discussions with CUNY Central about it, and we have raised our concerns about what this type of process would yield for this particular institution. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Connor Tomas Reed. I've been in the City University of New York since 2006 as a student and faculty member, and I'm an incoming faculty member at MedgarEvers. Much respect for having this statement today. Very thoughtful, insightful comments that I think we're all trying to work with in supporting MedgarEvers. I have 2 specific questions. The first one is, it seems like MedgarEvers, with the search for a new president, this is coming at a very pivotal time period with the interim temporary appointment of William Kelly as CUNY Chancellor. And I wonder if any of you could speak on how, with his interim temporary appointment, people from around MedgarEvers and CUNY could pressure William Kelly to support the wishes of the MedgarEvers community. and whether you think this campaign to have a new president at MedgarEvers be in part determined by the MedgarEvers community could be something that we could graft onto the City University of New York, and having the City University of New York having a hand in the selection of the new chancellor. My second quick question is, with different appointment periods like this, administrators can have this be a way how to decelerate movement activity like this. And I wonder, as this search for a president is taking place, how you would recommend people at MedgarEvers and around CUNY continue to do the amazing work that you're doing and not decelerate the work that you're doing during this period. We have examples from New York City like Lincoln Hospital, where the administrators of Lincoln Hospital said, actually, we're going to run this into the ground, or we don't care about this institution. So nurses, doctors, and staff workers decided to run the institution themselves. So I feel like there's a way that we could be looking at the immediate concern of establishing a new president, MedgarEvers, but also having that not make us where we're stopping in our tracks with doing the work that we need to do to run our university from below as well.
Well, let me answer your first question. Our last meeting with CUNY Central, Mr. Kelly was present, and so he knows what our concerns are, and it will be up to him to address them. If in fact he's going to be heading this the university system anytime soon, because we intend to be vigilant. We have been from day one, and we will continue to do so. With respect to how we get the university system to respond to institutions and communities of interest like those here at MedgarEvers College, I think that the makings of that has already been established. And it, again, requires vigilance. And again, when I look at the leadership assembled here, no one can say that they have not been vigilant. They have been on point. They have been, from day one, expressing their concerns and very informed about all that is taking place here. And so we have a body of documents that can be made public at any point in time that speaks to the recalcitrance of administrators, of leadership, and what has been brought forth in terms of the instability of this institution at this time. So that is my response. I don't know any other. Oh, we have been joined by State Senator Kevin Parker. As we've stated, we are unanimous in our commitment to this institution and to the demands that we have made here today with respect to MedgarEvers College. This institution is too valuable to this city, to this borough, to this community, for us to sit back and allow this process, which is not one that we have confidence in, to proceed as business as usual. Senator, I don't know if you have any comments you'd like to make. Are there any more questions?
Yeah. What funding is at risk if the university or if the school doesn't acquiesce to what you're demanding?
What funding is at risk?
Right. Several speakers have said that they're going to keep this in mind next time the school comes before the public officials seeking money or support.
Well, you know, those requests come quite frequently at the state level, at the city level. Federally, there's not much there, but they know the requests that come before them, and they will have an opportunity to address them as those requests come to them. I don't know if Councilman...
Yeah, I would like, there's an overarching statement here, and that is that historically, we, the black elected officials from Brooklyn and around the city, have always been supportive of City University's requests. The only ones that we have been opposed to is when they try to raise tuition on the back of the students. Anything that's against students, we've been against. Anything else, we have been their prime supporters in the various legislatures. What we're saying is that they are about to break that compact. They are going to alter the relationships going forward. So we don't have to be specific, you know, what we're going to do with city council, what we're going to do here, we don't know. But what they have to know is that we no longer now will fully support what comes before us from City University because they have not been supportive of our base of MedgarEvers College. And for them to risk that relationship, I think, is very irresponsible, not only for what's going to happen at MedgarEvers, but more so what's going to happen within the City University of New York.
Honestly, as you know, I'm not shy when it comes to standing up for my communities. And I think that the requests that have been made here today and the way that we've gone through this process, frankly, over the last 2 years has been more than reasonable. We don't come here and stand here as beggars, right? I am a member of the Higher Education Committee, I'm a member of the Finance Committee, and of course a member of the full Senate, which means I have 3 opportunities to talk about and discuss and ask questions around every single thing that they do. And I'm certainly going to use them, and again, as you know, I'm not shy about asking the questions that need to be asked in front of the full Senate. And so if that's the relationship that we want to have going forward, then that's fine, and that's the way we'll proceed. But I'm certainly not going to stand by and continue to rotely vote yes on things that CUNY is asking me, if in fact when we come forward with a reasonable request that we cannot be treated with reasonably and cooperatively.
And just in sort of following up, there are oftentimes federal grants that institutions, university systems apply for. They then require the support of their elected officials as those grant applications go in. In the coming weeks, months, maybe very shortly, there will be federal grant opportunities coming up, particularly as it comes as in respect to comprehensive immigration reform, educational processes around that process. And I think that MedgarEvers College is uniquely positioned to access that. I would be concerned about, given the instability of this institution, whether in fact I could lend my support to an institution that has not demonstrated a willingness to abide by the concerns of its campus community, and therefore jeopardizing an opportunity to access federal funding that could be available to them. Just an example of how this particular problem can be expanded beyond the boundaries of this particular environment.
One last question, and thank you very much, because a lot of my questions have been pent up for a while. All of you have expressed concern that you want an interim president. There's another issue, the school governance plan. Schaefer was appointed by Goldstein to come, and I sat in the meeting where he proposed a truncated school governance plan that would minimize the participation of the community and the students in the running administration of MedgarEvers policies and procedures going forward. So they said that by June that an amended school governance plan needed to be in place. And Schaefer, in fact, said it would be a crime or a serious problem if it wasn't in place for their plan to have a new president installed in June also. So we have those 2 issues coming up. Have you all looked at the school governance plan issue?
The school governance plan issue was brought to our attention. I think that all of that gets resolved if we're able and when we're able to address the leadership issue. Because embedded in the leadership issue is an understanding of the uniqueness of the institution and from whence it's come. And with an full embrace of that understanding, then the governance issue is one that can be addressed as well. What we're finding with the governance issue is that it's a rejection, ultimately, of the way in which MedgarEvers College was born, right, and its legacy moving forward. So we need to deal with all of these issues, but what you've found in terms of governance is a reflection of the disrespect that has been brought forth through this process of how this institution was born, why it's of significance to this community, and why, in fact, it is of significance, historic significance, to the CUNY system overall. Thank you all very much. Thank you.